Testing. Good morning, everyone. Before we start, why don't we stand up real quick? Come on. How long have you guys been sitting right now? Stand up, stretch out. We just heard some very emotional and very powerful words, and I want to thank Deb for opening up and being vulnerable. That takes a lot. So shake all those feelings out. Shake somebody's hand, say hello, turn around, and then and once you feel like you're good to go, then go ahead and sit down, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Is that loud enough? Am I talking loud enough? Doesn't sound like it's coming through? Yeah. Okay, well, I'm not gonna be as funny as I wish I could be like Deb. I've known her for years from going back to the Salt Lake Chamber, and that was great. Nice presentation, Deb. My name is Diana Young. I've worked with PrincePerelson and Associates for over 22 years now. Love my job, love connecting people, and that's what I do all day long, every day. I not only do it in my professional life, but I love connecting people in my personal life, and have always done a lot of networking events and girls' night out and things like that, and invited men as well. But anyway, we're happy to be here. We appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about hiring employees. I'll let Alex talk about him for a minute, and then we'll move on.
So my name is Alex, and it's Maturin-DiDonizio. Where is she? It's Alex DiDonizio, but I've been doing recruiting for a little bit over 15 years. I started in the Bay Area in Silicon Valley, and just recently this year I moved to the beautiful state of Utah, and I've been with PrincePerelson for the 5 months? It's felt longer, but today about 5 months.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing. And people are also my passion. I love connecting people. I love connecting with people. I'm always interviewing candidates. My husband always tells me when we're in the grocery store and we're in the checkout stand, I'm always interviewing the checker. So, how long have you been at Smith's? So, what brought you here? What do you want to do? What are your aspirations? What moves you? And he's like, Alex, you're not interviewing. You're not at work. But that's what I do. I like to connect with people. I like to know what people's passion are, or what their passions are, and how we can make that into a job that you love every day.
First of all, I didn't know you sent that picture. I'm like, why did I put that picture? Send my picture to Tracy, and you sent one in the outdoors. I could have done that, but anyway. So PrincePerelson and Associates is a full-service recruiting firm. We've been in business for 27 years. We're locally owned and operated. It's a woman-owned business. We have many different practice areas at PrincePerelson. We have recruiters that specialize in different areas. So we do temp to hire, and permanent placements. And we have recruiters that specialize in accounting and finance, IT, engineering, sales, marketing, legal, HR, make sure if I forget anything, you tell me, executive search, all clerical, administrative, receptionist, customer service, data entry, analysts, all levels of accounting and finance. And Alex actually does the accounting and finance for the temporary division. We do temp and temp to hire, and I do,
She does everything.
yeah, everything else. So anyway, we're excited to talk about not only our company, but also what we think you can do to try and attract top talent for your companies. And PrincePerelson, we know the unique culture and the business needs of the companies looking to hire and relocate here in Utah. I swear I probably interview 2 to 3 candidates a week myself that have moved in from out of state. So there are a lot of new people coming to Utah, a lot of people coming from California. Obviously they can't afford to live in California anymore. Oh yeah. Anyway, our clients range from startups to Fortune 500 companies. So we deal with all kinds of companies, all different industries, from everything from manufacturing to professional firms, okay? We like to create long-standing relationships with our clients. We like to act as critical advisors and early partners, and especially when there's employment opportunities that come up. We already, before we even left the office today, each had a client calling us this morning for new positions. It's been crazy for us. It's been a crazy week too. And we like to participate in various community committees, associations, doing things like this. You know, first time Alex and I have talked together, but it's kind of fun because you know, we haven't done this.
We haven't done this before,
Yeah.
and she's never driven with me before, so it was an experience this
That was
morning.
not a problem. I knew I wasn't going to be able to fix my lipstick or anything like that. But I was like, you were fine.
So what we want to talk about is more so to this crowd is recruiting and retaining top talent for small businesses. And small businesses face a common challenge. 70% of small businesses struggle to find and retain skilled talent, according to Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Summit report. And a lot of this information that I'm giving you, I'll put it on my LinkedIn page, so if you want to research more, you'll have to go find me on LinkedIn, and all of those resources will be there. Last year, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce held a small business summit in D.C., and one of the top barriers identified was that was preventing small businesses from growing more quickly was recruiting. So why? Why is recruiting and retaining skilled talent a struggle? Obviously, we know that the national unemployment rate has been super low. So there's a competitive hiring field. The lowest it's been in a long time, and in Utah it's even lower. If I'm not mistaken, it's dropped to a 12-year low of 2.8%. This is positive because people are, working, but it makes it more challenging, especially for small businesses or businesses that are just beginning, to really find and keep skilled top talent. Job seekers have the ability to be choosier with a wider range of career options to pick from. And a lot of small businesses, we don't have the endless resources to draw from. PrincePerelson is a small business. So competing with bigger companies, that's always tough for a small business. We have companies like Adobe, who just moved in a little bit ago. Google, I can go on and on, that offer all these perks that employees are always talking about, Smaller companies that are just starting out don't have those resources. Bigger companies can offer higher benefit packages and higher salaries and all these other perks that come along with it. So those are some of the struggles that some of the small businesses are facing in America across pretty much every major market.
We wanted to talk about the warm body syndrome. A lot of times small businesses, they kind of, they're starting up, they're dealing with small budgets, and they think we just need to get a warm body in here, and usually almost always that is a big mistake. So instead of hiring people who have the skills and are qualified for certain roles, people are hired simply because it's convenient, because of time constraints, because it seems cost effective, and I'm sure a lot of you that have worked in small companies or you own small companies know that that's usually the wrong thing to do. Unfortunately, the syndrome will cost businesses in the end, and cost the businesses more money in the end. So we want to talk about no experience with talent syndrome, which goes back to the warm body syndrome, where companies are making hiring decisions based out of time constraints and cheaper labor. Staffing firms can be a strategic and informed partner to help source and identify top talent. You talk about the money that you spend and the time trying to spend to find qualified candidates, and when you might be the owner or CEO of a company and you're looking through all these resumes and things that are coming through, we want to be an option for you on that, to find qualified candidates, and we are there every day, all day long, interviewing candidates, and we provide a great service to companies by helping you find the qualified talents that you're looking for.
And so you were saying one of the challenges is that not knowing how to actually find talent. You think it's easy putting out now hiring sign or putting something in the ad or in some job board, but you don't understand all the time what the correct process is to really find key talent, depending on the position that you're looking for. That's one of the challenges. The other challenges is the competitive market. Candidates can be a lot choosier now, and they may not want to go to the smaller business that doesn't offer the bigger, insurance benefits and bigger salaries and all these perks. So where's something that we can do?
Well, the other thing is putting people in the wrong roles. If you've ever heard an employee, you go on in an interview for a position and you're like, I went to college for this. Well, I have people come in all the time, or we all do, that they say, oh my gosh, I've been out there interviewing with, people place ads and whatever, and they're responding to ads out there, but they don't know what it's gonna cost and that kind of thing, and they go for the interview, they go through the whole interview, and then they find out, they only wanna pay me $13 an hour. Well, I've been making, 45,000, 50,000 a year. That is not equivalent to that. And so one of the things you want to make sure and do is make sure that if you are putting an ad out there or you have a job description, make sure you put it together with the skills that are required for the position. You want to make sure that it has the experience that is needed, the soft skills, the computer skills, all that. Make sure it's going to speak to almost exactly what that position is, okay? People don't want to be blindsided. You don't want to get somebody in there that starts working for you and then you have them doing something else or don't have other duties as assigned in your job description, and then, they're gonna say that's not what I was hired for, right? So that's something that's really key if you're going to be looking for people on your own. Make sure you have a good job description, you know what the role is, you've gotten together with your team to figure out what those needs are so that you can hire the right candidate for it. It's best to be transparent about the roles because, again, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt if you don't let people know what you're looking for and of course, what you're going to pay. If you tell them the range, you always want to sometimes come a little bit lower, but if you say a range is from, 45 to 50,000 and they apply to the job and they have the skills and they've been making that kind of money, and all of a sudden you say, well, we want to start you at 40, and you're like, what happened to the 45 to 50,000? You want to make sure that these people, you're giving them complete transparency and that they know what they're getting when they're taking a job from you, okay? What were we talking about now?
Something, the other thing that we could do is actually focus on company culture, which is something that has actually not plagued, but it's really been a big part of, the work experience, the work environment, having that work-life balance, so focusing on company culture.
Offer perks, and I know sometimes it's hard for smaller companies to do this, and bigger companies can have bigger perks, but there's lots of things we do as a small company. Jill Perelson loves to create a nice working environment. We have nice space, we'll have staff meetings sometimes. They'll just all of a sudden say, hey, we're doing a staff meeting next week in the park, and we'll go over to Sugar House Park, and they'll, have it catered, and, yes, it costs money, but it just brings the employees together. We'll play kickball, things like that, and it's just nice to kind of get away for a little bit from the office and get everybody together and create that, really team cohesive environment. Flexible work schedules. That's really key nowadays. People are looking for flexible work schedules and a work-life balance, okay? What does that mean? Well, maybe you could say, okay, our office is, open 8 to 5, but, there's people that are usually there earlier, people that are there later, so if it's gonna work that a mom has to drop her kids off at school and once they can't get to work until 8:30, but they'll work till 5:30, or they'll work till 5 and they'll only take a half an hour lunch. Those are the types of things you wanna, try and make work for your employees. It means a lot to them. If they have to take their kids to a doctor's appointment, they have a doctor's appointment, that, you don't want them to feel like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna juggle this? Let them take their lunch, let them come in earlier, let them work a little later to be able to go to these appointments that they need to go to. You're going to get more from your employees if you try and create that type of environment. Sometimes I've heard that people that have unended PTO, which sounds a little crazy to me, but some companies have it, and they do it because they feel they're gonna get more out of their employees by doing that than not and having these tight, I'm sorry, you can't take any time off. Sometimes companies call me and I'm like, so what are your benefits? Well, after a year, you get a week's off, vacation, and I'm like, well, what about sick leave? Well, no, we don't really have sick leave. It's like, come on, you're gonna tell me that in 1 year somebody's not gonna have to take 1 day off for something, So you've gotta try and balance that for sure.
Some of the things that small businesses can offer that I love very much is stocked kitchens. If you walk into any of the bigger, players, you can walk into multiple kitchens. Some of these places even have a kitchen. Yeah, they have chefs. Small businesses can't always offer that, but having small stock kitchens One of my last jobs before I moved here, we were kind of a smaller, unique, boutique staffing firm. I couldn't offer catering to my employees all the time. I couldn't have a well-stocked kitchen with almost every flavor of, soda, water, juices, or power bars. I couldn't. But the little bit that I could do, whether we had a pizza, or catered lunch once a week, or even once a month, it created a more cohesive team. So even having little things like that in your kitchen, asking your staff, what are some things that you like? One of the clients that I was working with the first time that I began with PrincePerelson, I asked, well, what are some perks that you like to do? What is the process when you're sourcing and identifying candidates? What are some questions you asked? And one of the questions that he likes to ask every new person that he's bringing in or that he's considering is, what's your birthday? What's your favorite type of cake? What's your favorite snack? And what's your go-to when you're stressed out? And these are things that he was able to take. So if he brought these people in to work for him, he already had a little bit of personal insight of this person and be able to offer these little perks that may seem insignificant, but at the end of the day, it shows the employee that you listened, that you cared, and that you're taking care of them, even in the smallest ways.
Yeah, birthday card.
Yeah.
Birthday card for employees.
At the end of the day, that's what employees want. They want to be heard, they want to be valued, and little things like that can help.
We do the birthday for us now, and this is something, I can't remember how long ago they started it, but we have probably 30 employees, 35 or something like that. But so what they do is, instead of, started off a long time ago, they have a birthday cake for each person in the office, and sometimes there was 4 or 5 birthdays in 1 month, like mine. And anyway, so now we do birthdays once a month, and whoever's birthday is in that month, they find out what their favorite, things are, and then they bring in a little variety of all the different desserts that the person likes, or if they can't, somebody's gluten-free, or they, can't eat dairy, or whatever, they cater to that, and it's not that costly, and yet it gets us all together. We sing happy birthday to the birthday person, and, it's just really nice. It's nice to be recognized.
Absolutely. Some of the other things that you can offer as a small business is wellness programs. And wellness programs don't also always mean that you need to have a gym on site, or that you can offer free gym membership, or that you can offer a certain amount of classes to Orange Theory every month. It simply means creating some kind of program within your budget to roll out to all of your employees for wellness. What do I mean by wellness? I mean exercising. It could be eating well. It could be something as simple as, all right, this team, this month, we're gonna check to see how many steps you guys do.
A contest.
Yeah, a contest every month. So little things like that keep the employees engaged outside of just their work. It not only creates a healthy lifestyle, but a healthy mentality as well. You're keeping the mind off. When you go to work, most of the time, when I go to work, the only thing that I think about when I think about work is how many clients I have to visit the first, next week, how many candidates I have scheduled that I need to look at. How many jobs? So all these things start happening.
Is that stressing you out?
Yeah, no. But when you can be an employee and know that you go to a job that offers these little things, like a little wellness program or little wellness contests, it allows the employee to not just think about that, but a little bit more positive notes when you're thinking about work, right? So creating little wellness programs and getting your employees engaged in them, I think, is something very unique and very awesome that small businesses can do that won't cost you really that much money. Massages, and I don't mean you massaging anybody, but I mean, having a licensed professional come in maybe once a month. Or look at your budget and see how often you can do it. Once a quarter. Hey, every quarter we have a massage therapist on site that's here all day.
We're talking chair massages.
Yeah.
But most of the time, our clients that we know of that do that.
Yes.
People that come in or they're at the airport and they're just doing those chair massages. Yeah.
So having something like that, even if it's once a quarter, it's something that employees look forward to and say, at the end of the month, so-and-so is gonna come in, I wanna make sure that I write my name on because I'm gonna get a 15, 20-minute massage. So little things like that, tickets to sporting events or concerts, you can network with the community that you are working in, and network with like Redwood Gardens and other sporting events or concerts, and see what you can do.
The Bees game or basketball or tickets to movies, to the movie theaters. you know?
Having little things like that, little perks like that help small businesses to really attract and keep talent. And tracks or bus passes. You know, a lot of, something big in Silicon Valley was always commute. The commute was always horrible. So what I try to push for my employees is to use public transportation. So working with the public transportation, seeing what's closer to your job, seeing what's closer to your employees, and trying to work something out so that they're not always commuting is something that you can do, or even approach tracks and see how much it costs to have bus passes every year or every month. Little things like that attract employees. So if you're a small business, it's something you can do.
Yeah, and some employees that we meet with don't have vehicles. They use public transportation. So, you know, a lot of times it works to their advantage to use a recruiting firm, because then we know, okay, we need to make sure that this person, if we send this person's resume to one of our clients, have the client's address or whatever the route is on a bus line or a tax line, you know, that makes it easier. If not, we don't waste their time or our time, you know, sending them somewhere where they're probably not gonna be able to get there or get there on time. It's gonna be such a process to get to where they want to
work.
go. Yeah, and you know, lagoon maybe, or the zoo, or, you know, again, games at the park. I mean, we've done staff meetings and just decided it was a beautiful day out. Let's just get everybody together and go play some kickball, and everybody bring your sneakers, you know. You know, we just dress down a little bit and then, or change our clothing or whatever. But I was talking to a candidate that came in yesterday, and she worked for a company that did bake-offs. And they would decide that they were gonna do a chili bake-off, or, you know, an international food bake-off, or Italian, whatever, you know, a bake-off of some kind, and get the employees involved. So the employees would bring these dishes, right? They'd have kind of a potluck, and they'd make it into like a contest, and then give out little prizes for, you know, the first, second, and third prize winners. But it brought everybody together. 5 minutes, okay, thanks. It brought everybody together, and the employees brought the food themselves. So actually, it was not costing the employer to do that, and it was a lot of fun. She said they did it every few months or something, and then they'd bring in like a nonprofit speaker or whatever. But I thought, what a great idea! And then it was cost effective to the employer. So let's see, where are we to? Go ahead.
Treating your employees like people. What a concept, right? You know, I come from a generation and parents that, you know, when you get a job, you stick with that job, and you're gonna hustle, and every day, day in, day out, that's what you're gonna do, whether you like it or not. That's kind of the family home that I come from. And so when I started my career right after the Army, recruiting and human resources was something I wanted to do. So I stuck with a job at a county, and I loved it. And then it got to year 9, and I was miserable. I was miserable about my job. I was miserable about what I was doing. I was miserable about my bosses. It was just a very toxic work environment, you know, and even thinking about leaving that job, because I had to pay benefits, I had to pay pay, I was gonna get tenure, you know, was not something that I would consider. And I got to a point where my happiness was a lot more important than pay, than benefits, than, you know, having tenure. And so I took a chance and moved into a little private boutique staffing firm, and I can't tell you how much that's changed my personal life, and it's made me a lot happier. So.
And then you came and found us.
Yeah. But treating your employees like people, I mean, okay, it sounds kind of normal, but it's true. And that's all that employees really want. They want to be heard, they want to be valued, they want to be happy. I don't want to go to work every day and be miserable. I mean, how many of us have had those jobs where you wake up in the morning and you're like, I'm not trying to go to work. Like, I don't want to see so-and-so, she's getting on my nerves, I can't, you know, we've had those moments. But being able to offer little perks like what we've been talking about.
Make them feel appreciated.
Absolutely.
That's the most important thing, and that truly is the number one thing, it seems, in the last year or so, that employees, when you sit down to interview them, you ask them what is it you're looking for, it's not always money anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't. You know, you get with these big companies, and the big companies, yeah, they have a lot to offer, but then you're just a number, you know, so there can be a lot of advantages to the small businesses because you have more opportunities to make them feel individual and appreciated, you know, in a more intimate type setting.
And then to close out, because
Yeah.
we're running out of time, I think one of the, at the end of the day, being a small business, yeah, you don't have all the resources that bigger businesses have, But something that they do have that big businesses do not have is flexibility. So think judo. Judo is the art of using an adversary's force, an adversary, I can never say that, force to one's advantage. So apply that here. Large companies are a grind sometimes. They're impersonal sometimes, they're highly structured, they're competitive, they're inflexible. Today's workforce values lifestyle a lot more. That's what they value. So think and write down all the challenges and that come to mind working at a large company and use those to your advantage. Use that flexibility that you have to attract talent and create a positive and more intimate and close work culture where employees feel appreciated and are willing to help each other out to get the job done and create growth for your business. Because ultimately, that's the goal, to quickly grow your business. And these little perks that we just talked about can seem simple, but can really help to attract quality talent and lower down the turnover.
And do your homework on salaries, make sure you're not underpaying for what you're looking for. You do want to be competitive, especially if you're a small business, and need to do what you can to attract candidates. And we're always there to help companies, because although companies will call and say, hey, I'm just shopping around, wondering what you charge, and you tell them what the fee is, and they're like, well, that's kind of a little bit too much. I'm like, that's okay, if you change your mind, let me know, I understand, and they end up hiring somebody, and seriously, so many times, several weeks later, they come back, and it's because they've made the wrong decisions, and it's like, we're there to be a resource for you. If we can help, we'd love to. We interview people all day long, we've got it down, we can really get to know a candidate and know the best fit for those companies that are asking us to help them. So if we can be of any help, we have our business cards, we can send the information to Tracy, I'll put those links on his LinkedIn. Yeah.
I do hope that these little things helped out. If you have any questions, by all means, feel free to come by. I'd love to speak to you and discuss more.
Are there any questions right now, real quick, before we have to close out? Come on.
I think these people are hungry. Thank you, guys.